Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Letty and this is my creative space for sewing, knitting and all the other crafty projects that I can come up with. Today's video will be all about knitting and the small things that I finished during the last weeks or months and the big project that I'm currently working on. I tend to have smaller projects that I can easily pick up during the day when I have, like, let's say 2 to 5 minutes here and there during the day. It's either socks or heads in that case what I finished now. But yeah, easy to follow things that don't take a lot of brain space basically. And the bigger project, I have one cardigan that I'm currently knitting, and I try to not to have more than one big project. I would rather get the time that I have for knitting into one garment and finish it as soon as possible and then jump to the next project. So yeah, the first thing I would like to share with you is my Musselburgh Head. This is a pattern by Jägerzaun Socks. It is a swatchless knit, which I really like. So you knit up your head and you measure your gauge during the knitting process, and then you see in the instructions what kind of how many increases you need to do and how long your head by the end has to measure to be finished and do the decreases. It comes with a 4-point crown, as you may see here. I will insert also some pictures of that. And what I really like about the pattern, that's why I also then decided to knit it up, is it is double layered. So you start on one point of the crown, you knit it up to the bottom, which is then basically decreased, and you bind it off. And it forms a very nice and dense fabric, which I really like, since my other hat that I have, it looks very pretty with the lace work that I did, but yeah, I mean, it's not very nice for the winter if it's like super crisp and cold, and I rather prefer then a double layered hat to have. So yeah, this is the project that I have. I knitted up with the Hobby Unicorn solid color. This is a sock yarn that I bought, I think, some years ago. It's 75% merino wool and 25% polyamide. It's very soft and very drapey, so definitely like the texture and the feel of that yarn. It was also quite cheap in comparison to other options that I had, and I think I have still, yeah, as you saw, I have one left, which I have no idea what I will do with. But yeah, that was a leftover yarn that I had, and I wanted to do something nice with it. This comes in 100 grams skeins, and I used roughly 70 grams for this hat. I have to say, it could, if I look back now, I would like to have it maybe 4 centimeters longer in total, or maybe an inch, something on those lines, so 4 to 5 centimeters or 1 inch. To have it, I'll have a wider brim, I think it is. It's a very narrow one on me, but I mean, it's a first knit, and now I have a reference garment where I can look it up, like how much I have to knit further. So yeah, definitely still a very positive result, and I really like that. What else do I have to say about that? Yeah, nothing more. Oh yeah, I knitted that on 3mm needles, and I think the recommendation for that yarn is, yeah, from 2.5 to 4mm needles. It's a recommended needle size for that. And yeah, the pattern is very easy to follow. You can't do much wrong. And I think I will definitely pick it up again, this pattern, to knit with some of my leftover fabrics from either sock projects or other projects that I had. And since it's so easy to follow, unfortunately it's not available in German. I think I will also translate it for my mom, because she would definitely like to knit herself a head of that shape. Yeah, so I definitely have to do this. The second finished object is also, and not a head, it is a headband and all the blue hairs in it. I raided my stash, not my stash, but I checked what I have left in my stash under in the boxes, and I found a very old yarn that I forgot about. It was only one skein from Lang. I think it was the Airolo, however you call it, and it is I'm not even sure if it's still available to purchase, but I made in 20 2014 it was, I think. I made a little, cardigan, the Jenica? I don't remember which one. Do I know it? Jenica. Hoodie made out of that yarn. And it is a very robust yarn, so it's not super fluffy, and I like it against the skin, so the cardigan I still wear sometimes. But yeah, I had this one ball left over and I made this little headband, which is the Frida Headband from Emily Louise. It's one of the free patterns that you can get, and I thought, why not use this skein of yarn that I still have and make a little headband, especially for the transitional period that we have right now, where you maybe need something warm on your ears, but nothing like a big hat. So yeah, I knitted that up, I think, in a 5mm needles. Unfortunately, I never note down which needle size I use. Always biting me in my ass afterwards, because I then go back to my project page and thinking like, oh, what needle size did I use? And yeah, I never noted down, but I think it was a 5mm or a 5.5mm needle. And yeah, it's an easy knit. You just basically knit a rectangle and then you sew it together. The only thing that I had I ran out of yarn basically. I think it was on the last few stitches that I have to cast off, and I used one black yarn that I still have lying around to cast off the last stitches, and then also sew everything together in the back. So yeah, definitely like that hat. The only thing, headband. The only thing that I found, I have to get used to it. Let's put it that way. The headband is twisting a little bit, and then it sometimes leads you with a very strange hairstyle. And I got definitely many laughs out of the headband situation and the hair situation, but definitely a very good stash buster. And yeah, maybe I will do it again sometimes, but I'm now quite happy to have this little project finished. The last finished object will be a sock project that I picked up. I am always a person with cold feet, and I like to have knitted socks, especially for at home, or yeah, I really like them. And some of my socks are now dying, and I thought, why not treat myself with some new house socks? And I found this pattern by Pearl Soho. It is the house socks. It's a free pattern as well. It's made for a DK weight yarn, and you knit it on 3mm needles. At least that is what I did. And yeah, it's a nice pattern, but a lot of people mentioned at Ravelry that there are some issues with the pattern. And I mean, I think they have an correction somewhere on their website, but not in the original post, which I found a little bit weird. Why would you not just correct the post? But anyway, I knitted it up. I mostly finished it to their description. I used the Judy's Magic cast on for the magic loop method. First time that I knitted a magic loop with socks. Usually I knit with double point needles, but I have to say I definitely like the magic cast or the magic loop method better, and I just bought myself some new smaller needle sizes for knitting socks, because yeah, definitely prefer the magic loop method now. Yeah, what can I say about the socks? I mean, everything is nice and tidy, but where I got confused, I'm not sure why I got confused on the first sock. You have a little detail on the upper part, on the calf part, with some zigzag pattern. On the first sock, I managed to make one zigzag line, and somehow I forgot the other one. I don't know why. I somehow did something wrong during the process, and then my mind was, yeah, it's just like making these cables, and therefore I just made one cable and realized then, wow, they don't look like this on the pattern photo. They look different. So I tried to fix that with the second sock, but in the second sock I made another mistake, which I have no idea where that came from. And after I finished my heel, which is just a no, it's not a wrap and turn, it's a decreased heel. And afterwards you pick up some stitches and you're supposed to continue the ribbing, but on the edges of the or on the sides of the sock basically, I have 2 purl stitches instead of purl knit. Yeah, therefore I couldn't try the pattern with the original pattern for this upper piece, for the calf piece, and I tried to make a little braided something. I don't know. It's a sock, so I don't care that much if it looks pretty perfect or whatever. It's anyway just a sock for at home. What I also did for the first time, I usually cast off with Judy's surprisingly stretchy cast off yada 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 method, but I don't like it that it flares out so much on socks. And this time I used the tubular bind off method, I think it was. And I hope it is better. I mean, it's unblocked the socks. I did not care to block them yet because I think I finished them yesterday in the evening. And maybe this will be better once I wash them in the washing machine. I usually wash all my socks in the washing machine. I have a very trusty washing machine that handles knits very carefully. So yeah, maybe this will go away with a little flare once I wash it and wear it. If not, it's not the end of the world. It's socks by the end of the day that are anyways for at home. But I'm super happy. Maybe I mentioned the yarn. This one is let me check. It is the Rico Design Suburban Tweed 6-ply yarn, which is a DK weight, and yeah, definitely like it. It's very robust, and I hope they also are as robust as they feel. And yeah, definitely would knit the pattern again, and maybe this time I take more or pay more attention to the detail on the calf, and therefore I will manage to make it right. So these conclude my finished objects, and the next one is the big project that I'm currently working on. This is the True Cardigan by Hochi. I think to this point I either knitted self-drafted patterns, self-drafted knits. What is the equivalent for that in knitting? I don't know. Or I knitted Hochi patterns, and I really like her designs, and her instructions are very nice and clear. Unless you're on a fever or have a cold in general, then you do mistakes. Ask me how I know. So yeah, the big project that I have, I will insert pictures also of how I wear that right now as this huge cardigan. This is a very nice cardigan for a decade weight yarn. What I especially like, you don't have any closures, you just wrap it around you. And for me, it's just a cozy, very cozy cardigan, like a blanket. But very feminine, very elegant, and I love the detail of, you have the fronts are in a ribbing, so that the yoke and the front is in ribbing, as you can see here, and the back piece is just plain stockinette. Yeah, I really like this detail of more structured, more textured fabric in the front, and then a more plain laid back fabric in the back. And I knit this for the second time now. I have another one in a proper DK weight yarn, which is from Frida Headband, what is it? The Wonneproppen, I think. And this one is made out of Holst yarn in, I think it is Noble, the name, which is 95% wool and 5% cashmere. This yarn, as you may see, had many lives before this cardigan. So I bought a cone of 500 grams back in the days for super cheap money, like 60 euros or something like that. And I always intended to use it for a cardigan. I think I had several options by that time. It's a light fingering weight yarn, and it's discontinued by now, unfortunately. But yeah, I had many ideas for that yarn. I think I knitted 2 or 3 projects up. and none of the projects I like. The first project was a cardigan that was cropped, and I hoped for, what was my hope for that? That I can wear it in a transitional period. But this cashmere and wool combination is so warm that I did not enjoy wearing it during the transitional season. So it was too warm all the time. Also, the cuffs didn't look so good on that pattern. And yeah, I ripped it basically, frogged it basically, and rewound all the balls. I thought for a long time what I could knit with it. The other project that I did was, I think, a cropped pullover from another designer, which I didn't like the construction and the fit of it, and frogged it again. And yeah, I was desperate what to do with this beautiful yarn, and came across the project pages of the True Cardigan, that some people did it, I think, in either this exact Halls garn of the Noble, or it was the one made out of cotton. I don't remember which one, but people held it double. And I thought, maybe that is a good idea to give that beautiful yarn a second chance, or a third chance, so to speak, to finally settle on a design that I definitely like and enjoy wearing, since I am wearing the other one constantly. So yeah, I found that this one is definitely the best project that I could found for this yarn. And man, I still have some fluffy parts of my interfacing from the coat. I can find it everywhere in the project that were once close to that coat. But yeah, one thing that I did is, usually you knit that project up first on the bodice and back and the bodice part, and then you pick up the stitches for the sleeve. But I wanted to get the most out of this yarn that I have left over, and I decided to knit up the sleeves first and then knit everything up on the bodice part. I think I'm around the waistline now, and my goal is to have it somewhere mid-thigh length, I guess, that it will be warm and cozy for the winter, and maybe also an easy to wear coat, kind of coat cardigan for the transitional period. But yeah, I think I started that project in March last year, but then I didn't knit for 8 months or so, and I picked it up basically on a regular basis then in November, and since November I'm knitting that beast of a project. But I need to have time to knit it, because I think for one round, maybe I'm a very slow knitter, but I don't know, one round takes me between 10 to 15 minutes. So usually I do it in the evenings when I have time, sit on the couch, watch either some YouTube or another show, and just knit for, let's say, half an hour to an hour, and hopefully make some progress on the project, because I desperately wanted to be finished. I want to wear it. And I also have other projects in my mind that I don't want to start before I finish that. I gave myself basically a ban of casting on any big projects until this one is finished. So yeah, definitely very happy. Did I mention it? I hope I mentioned it. I'm holding the yarn double to get close to a DK weight. I am not perfectly, I didn't met gauge that perfectly, but also I had the same issue, so to say, with the other yarn that I used, and my gauge is a little bit higher. Is it then higher? I have more stitches and more rows on my gauge, and decided to knit a size small instead of a size S. I did it the last time as well, and that worked out perfectly for me. So I also tried it on, of course, many times, and I saw that, yeah, it will fit again. So definitely happy with my choice there. There goes the yarn. And that project is so huge, I had to sew myself a new project bag to fit that project into. Yes, so this is basically what I'm working on right now. I don't have a new small project, but I have 2 project ideas. yeah, let's start with that. So I still have very old yarn, so I inherited the yarn stash of my grandmother when she passed away, and I'm happily knitting through her stash. And I have also some leftover yarns, some small amounts of yarn that I bought for whatever project that I have no idea why I bought it initially. And I thought that yeah, socks are a good thing to knit here and there. Some friends were asking for some new socks, and I also like to test out, for example, not pattern work, color work again. And yeah, I thought that this is maybe a good idea to do it with socks. It's easier. You don't have a huge cardigan or a huge, what is it called? Sweater. And I thought, yeah, I will go into color work, but with socks this time. So the first project that I think I will either cast on tonight or maybe tomorrow will be the Jägerzaun Socks, which would be translated, I think, to rustic fence socks, which is a German and English pattern. A very nice color work that I saw on Ravelry the other day, I think some months ago, when I made the plan of I will knit all of my yarn that I have up. Even if it's ugly, I will find to pair it with some nicer yarns, that then it will be combined a prettier fabric. And that is what I would like to do. I bought, I don't know why, I have this grass green sock yarn, and I bought myself to hold it together as a main color with these, I think it's a beigeish off-white color tweed, basically the same as the other socks were knitted in, but in a 4-ply. So it's again this Rico design Superba tweed in 4-ply. And I have this Regia 4-ply as well, which you can find everywhere in Germany. So yeah, I really like that that yarn. I knitted many socks with them, and they are always good. So these are 70% wool. What is it? Yeah, new wool. Yeah, wool basically, and 25% polyamide, and I think this is the same. Oh no, this is only 60% wool, 30% polyamide, 7% polyacrylic or acrylic, and 3% viscose. So yeah, I will hold these two together to knit the Jägerzaun socks. And then I saw in one of the project pages on Ravelry that one person did the Latvian braid, which is a horizontal braid, right after the ribbing in a contrasting color, and I really liked it. And then I found this old yarn. Maybe, yeah, I think it should be distinguishable enough for this green color. And I think I would like to try this Latvian braid method, and therefore I have this leftover. I don't even remember what kind of fabric yarn that is. I think it is a sock yarn at least. But yeah, I will anyway just use it for one small, yeah, I think it's a 2-row braid basically, and I will use this one as a contrasting color. I hope that goes well together, and then that this, I mean, it's not a nice color, this green, but I hope that these two pair together very nicely, and then it tones down everything. And yeah, definitely would like to try this color work and get myself back into color work, because the last time I did it is a very long time ago. This will definitely be my first small project that I would like to get to. And then I guess I will knit the house socks again, because my partner then, when he saw how the finished socks look like, he found them so cute. He wants to have a pair as well, and I have roughly half of the yarn left. Maybe it will be not enough for the complete socks, but I will try to get to use all of that, and if there's some rows missing, I guess I can get away with it and knit it with, even if it's a smaller yarn, knit the last bits up with this one. I don't know. We will have to see how this will go, but at least I would like to give that a try, to knit most of this up for a pair of socks for him as well. So yeah, this video is, I think, definitely shorter than the last one, but this is my current state of affairs when it comes to knitting. Oh, one thing, totally forgot that. one thing that goes maybe one day into knitting is I started spinning, and this is always, or was always, a thing I wanted to try. I found that so cool to see that you can basically make your own yarn and be, how do you say that? Be able to produce everything by yourself. I mean, I will not go into spinning forever and ever and just spin my yarns and don't buy anything. That is highly unlikely, but I always wanted to give it a try to see how it is to spin, how does it feel, how does the fleece behave, and how is the process in general. And I mean, I didn't want to invest in a spinning wheel, since that is super expensive. I don't have the space for that, and therefore my very good friend Michi, thank you for that, lent me this spindles that she has. She has one of the, how is it called? It's a low whirl spindle, I guess. And then she has this support spindle, which I have a bowl for as well. And yeah, she gave me the two of them and some fleece. This fleece, it looks maybe nice from the beginning, but if you spin it up, it sometimes looks very dirty. It's green, purple, yellow, and yeah, it's okay, but it's nothing that both of us agreed that this is not the prettiest of all materials that you can get for spinning, but it's good enough to give it the first try, because let's be honest, everything that you started for the first time is not pretty and will definitely not be pretty. You will make a lot of mistakes. Therefore, it doesn't make sense to get anything too fancy. So yeah, this is my first spindle so far, the drop spindle. That is definitely very thick. So I think that is around, let's say, an hour of spinning. And then I have the support spindle over here. That is more finer yarn already. So yeah, I'm trying to get into the motion of how you move your hands, how you handle the, what is the English term for this fiber material? I have no idea. I have to look that up for next time. But yeah, I'm slowly but surely getting into understanding the motion of my hand and my spindle and how I have to handle it to not drop it. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun and a completely new experience. I'm not sure if I ever will knit this thing up. Maybe I will use it for some rows that I definitely have the first spin that I ever did preserved in, I guess, a little headband, or maybe in one of the next beanies that I'm doing. But yeah, really like the experience so far, but it's very straining and I don't have a good sitting position for the spindle yet. Not for the supportive one, because I don't have something that is then high enough to spin it in, and also for the drop spindle. So I have to check how I can manage to improve my posture, improve my sitting position. But yeah, I really like this project, that they are more or less travel size. I think it's in the beginning, and it's hard to get into a mood where you're not in a mood, but in a flow state, because you're constantly learning the new thing. But once I'm in the flow state, I hope that this will become also a good project that I can carry with me and work on it on the weekends if I have time. But yeah, definitely very surprised on how fast you can make progress while you are spinning or with spinning. And thank you, Michi, again for giving me your materials for now. And yeah, then I can decide maybe in a month or so what I prefer with spinning and get myself my own spindles. But yeah, it's nice to try it for the first time with your friends' materials, if they are happy to lend it to you before you dive into a new hobby that is expensive by the end. And yeah, if you don't like it, it would be a waste of money. So I'm very happy that I have this for trying out and to keep me company during the evenings. So yeah, I guess this would be definitely a shorter episode, as I said. I hope you enjoy it, and if you have any questions regardless my projects or whatever, I'm happy to answer them. Leave them down in the comments. And I hope you have a very crafty week ahead, and we will see each other in the next episode.